Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that gets thrown around a lot, but is actually a huge deal for any business that wants to stick around: ethics. We're going to explore how making the right call isn't just about some moral high ground, it's about building a foundation for real, lasting success.
So here's what we've got on tap. First, we're going to tackle why any of this actually matters. Then we'll get our hands dirty with a practical toolkit you can use. From there, we'll check out ethics in the wild with corporate social responsibility, look at some, let's call them cautionary tales, and then wrap it all up with how you build an ethical culture from the ground up. Ready? Let's do it.
Okay, let's kick things off. Why should we even care about business ethics? Well, it goes way beyond just the bottom line. But as you're about to see, the financial stakes are, well, they're massive. Let's just start with a number that'll kind of stop you in your tracks. $74 billion. That's how much value was just gone, wiped out by the Enron scandal. It's just a brutal reminder that when ethics go out the window, the financial collapse can be absolutely spectacular.
Okay, but here's where the story flips from just avoiding disaster to actually creating opportunity. I mean, look at this. A whopping 86% of consumers, that's pretty much all of us, are thinking about a company's ethics when we decide to buy something. This isn't a fringe idea anymore, It's mainstream. Being ethical isn't just playing defense, it's one of the best ways to build a loyal following. Okay, just so we're all on the same page, what are we even talking about here? Business ethics is just applying our basic moral sense of right and wrong to what a company does. And here's the key part. It goes beyond just following the law. Think of it this way. The law is the absolute minimum. It's the floor. Ethics is about reaching for the ceiling. It asks, yeah, it's legal, but is it right? All right, theory is great, but let's get practical. How do you actually make these tough calls? In this next section, we're going to move from the why to the how with a simple framework for working through those messy gray area choices we all run into. And here it is, our toolkit, a super straightforward 5-step process. You start by just admitting, hey, this is an ethical dilemma. Then you gather the facts, look at your different paths, stress test your best idea, and then you pull the trigger. Having a process like this is a game changer because it pulls the raw emotion out of it and gives you a clear path when things get complicated. Okay, let's put this framework to the test. Picture this. You're a company, you've just found a small safety flaw in a product. It's already out there with 50,000 customers. A recall would cost you $2 million. The data says the risk of anyone getting hurt is really, really low, but it's not zero. The pressure is on. What do? All right, so we pull out our toolkit. Step 1. What's the real problem here? It's a classic conflict, right? Customer safety on one side, financial cost on the other. And you have to think about everyone involved, your customers, your shareholders, the government. Then, step 2, this is where you got to do your homework. What do the laws say? What are the reporting rules? What's the real data on the potential for harm? And now we get to the heart of it. For step 3, you use this brilliant little tool called the publicity test. Just ask yourself, how would I feel if this decision was blasted across the front page of the news tomorrow? That simple question, it cuts through the noise, doesn't it? And it leads you right to steps 4 and 5. The only real choice is a voluntary recall. Yeah, it's going to hurt in the short term, but you're protecting the one thing you can't put a price on: your customers' trust. That idea of long-term trust is the perfect segue to our next section. We're going to zoom out from one single choice to how entire companies make ethics a core part of their identity. And they do it through something called corporate social responsibility, or CSR. So what is CSR? You can think of it as ethics made real across the whole organization. It's when a business decides on its own, hey, we're going to build social and environmental good right into our business model. Not as some PR stunt, but as part of how they operate day in and day out. And really, who does this better than Patagonia? Just read that mission statement. It doesn't say we're in business to sell jackets. It says they're in business to save the planet. That's not just a tagline, it's their entire reason for being. It guides every single decision they make. And this isn't just talk. Look at what they actually do. They give away 1% of their sales. They re-engineer their products to use recycled stuff. They've literally run ads that say, don't buy this jacket, to encourage people to repair things instead of buying new. That's what it looks like when CSR is the real deal. And hey, Patagonia's not the only one playing this game. You see it with Ben & Jerry's and their passion for social justice. You see it with Microsoft's insane goal to become carbon negative. Even Starbucks investing in its part-time employees. It shows that CSR isn't one size fits all, but it's always about creating value that goes beyond profit.
Okay, but for every shining example, there's a dark side, right? A cautionary tale. And if we really want to understand how to get this right, we have to be willing to look at what happens when it all goes wrong.
This table is pretty much a hall of shame of corporate scandals. You've got Wells Fargo's employees opening fake accounts because of insane sales pressure, Volkswagen straight up cheating on emissions tests, Facebook and its massive privacy failures, and tragically Boeing, where profits were put ahead of safety. Different companies, different industries, but it's the same sad story every time.
And when you dig into these scandals, it's scary. You see the exact same patterns emerge. Insane pressure to hit numbers no matter what, controls that are either way too weak or just ignored. People who try to raise a red flag get shut down. The bottom line is, these weren't just a few bad apples. The whole system, the entire culture was broken. So that brings us to the big finale, the most important part, really. How do you stop this from happening? How do you go from just checking boxes and complying with rules to having a genuine, company-wide commitment to doing the right thing? The answer is actually pretty simple, though doing it is hard. It all starts right here, with an ethical culture. It's the soil everything else grows in. It's the set of shared values that tell people what to do when their boss isn't looking over their shoulder. And that culture isn't just some feel-good internal thing. What it produces, its most important product, is trust. Trust from your employees, trust from your partners, and most importantly, trust from your customers. And that trust, it's not just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It has a real, tangible business outcome. Trust is the magic ingredient that creates true, die-hard customer loyalty, the kind of loyalty that makes people stick with you even when a competitor is a little bit cheaper.
And right there, that's the whole point of this explainer, isn't it? That kind of loyalty is what drives real, sustainable, long-term profit. Ethics and profits aren't enemies. In fact, a deep commitment to ethics is the most reliable path to get there.
So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. What happens in that moment of truth, when doing the right thing for people or the planet seems to clash with what shareholders want to see this quarter? That is the ultimate test. And how a company answers that one question really tells you everything you need to know about them. Thanks so much for joining me.